Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user Throwaway Phone Check. My girlfriend, 23 female, checks my 27 male phone, asks to get engaged almost daily. Hi Reddit, so my girlfriend and I have been dating for 2 years. She asked me out during my last year of college and things went on from there. I will say that during the first month to 6 weeks, she became attached very fast. I'm talking light your brains on fire sex every single day and her telling me how much she loves me. Fast forward 2 years and there is absolutely no sex, no foreplay, nothing. It has been this way for 6 to 7 months. She suddenly wants to wait until we get married. She asks if I am going to propose almost every day. When are you going to propose? Did you buy a ring? Why haven't you proposed yet? No, I have not gotten a ring. Her constant talk of marriage makes me uncomfortable. But also, she checks my phone a lot. Any female friend I have, not many as she is extremely jealous, gets me 20 questions. Whether they're Snapchats, work texts, or if I see someone in public, I get grilled. I notice that I receive snaps and they're already opened, so I miss them. She looks over my shoulder when I text or asks every time who I'm texting. It's pretty crappy. Here's the other side of the coin. She has tons of guy friends, orbiters if you will, a bunch of single blokes who constantly Snapchat, message, or call. Does it bother me? Not really. The double standard bothers me more. She flipped out on me for having a conversation with an old friend, a girl in a 6-year relationship, from college last week and took my phone and began to type a rude message. I managed to get my phone back before she pressed send, but I noticed that when she texts, she turns her body so that I would have no chance to see the screen. Specifically, she just met this new dude, and I know she's messaging him, she told me, as a new friend. Yeah, honestly, I don't trust her anymore because I feel that she doesn't trust me or herself. There's more to the story, but you get the idea. I don't check her phone, but her behavior is throwing up a bunch of red flags. Well, OP, based on everything you've said regarding her behavior of how many friends she has and her being jealous of you having any kind of friend, it sounds like she's kind of projecting, so maybe she is cheating on you. Now, this is just my speculation, but based on the other stories that I've read, these are all indicators that she might be having, if not a physical affair, well on her way to emotional, right? At least that would be my conclusion, considering how jealous she gets of you having any friends, but she has as many as she wants, and she needs to know who you're texting, looking over your shoulder and all of that weird behavior, but when she texts, she's very reserved about it. And let's not forget the constant badgering about you getting married and the absolute dead bedroom that you've got going on. I think this relationship is going nowhere and you just need to call time a death and move on. Now, in the best case that she isn't cheating, she definitely needs help to get over her insecurities, and you're not the person to do that. She needs a professional for that. So to me, the outcome would be the same. You need to call time a death and move on. And what about you guys? What do you think OP should do? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. CLR1971 says, I'm 46, have kids ranging from 16 and 25. Have seen this behavior from others and on one of my own. This is not healthy. Gently run from this relationship. Buying her a ring to appease her would lead to dark times in your life. Run. It takes 2 times longer to fill the hole you dig. Spend 3 to 4 years with her before it goes south. Expect 6 to 8 years of chaos. I think this holds true physically, emotionally, and even in regards to health. Best of luck. And OP responds, 2 times, eh? I don't know if I agree with that, but I do appreciate your input. Carrie Dactyl says, my take, she is not psychologically healthy. Her lack of boundaries and lightning speed courting period, her constant need for attention from men, be it you or others, trying to browbeat you into marriage, she knows she's being annoying. She's banking on you removing the annoyance by proposing. Does a marriage to you offer financial stability or some other benefit? Instead of breaking up with her. But is lining up backups just in case. Make no mistake though, her lining up backups will likely never change, even after marriage, no matter how good you are. The amazing sex at the beginning was her hooking you, and her getting attached very quickly was her getting attached to the way you made her feel about yourself, not attached to you as a person. She sounds like some degree of narcissist, and narcissists don't have genuine relationships. They have human mirrors who think they're in genuine relationships. Mohohoho3030 says, Dumper has been covered. Dude, how is this even a post? Please Dumper. But OP, you have got to learn to draw a boundary. When the next girl asks to check your phone, say no. If she does it anyway, change your password and tell her if she does it again, you are done. If she refuses you anything she is getting from you, tell her it needs to change or you are done. If she demands a ring, say you don't want marriage yet. Everyone deserves their own respect. Don't be a doormat. Additional information from OP's comments. Her behavior is very inappropriate regarding my phone and friends. She doesn't just get jealous of female friends, she gets jealous of male friends. I don't go out with my friends all that much, but when I do, golf or baseball or football, she messages me while I'm out several times. It's like, geez, give me 4 hours of peace and quit checking up on me. For example, I go golfing with my friends and she messages me and asks me what I'm doing. I said I was going golfing, that has not changed. Still on hole 1. 30 minutes later, yep, still here, hole 1. Seriously though, I feel as though she tries to punish me for not spending time with her. When I do go out with my friends and my girlfriend and I had plans for the evening, she'll say, I don't know if I'll hang out. Some of my friends want to go downtown, bar hop and hang out, and it sounds like the biggest BS. Truthfully, I feel as though she thinks it's a form of punishment or something. Now, she did cheat on her last boyfriend. No, not with me. It was with his best friend. She said she only kissed the guy. I call BS, but she's sticking to that story. Funny because last year her roommate, 23 female, blew up on her for cheating on her husband's brother. The old boyfriend is her husband's brother. According to my girlfriend, her roommate knew about what had happened. This happened many years ago, apparently, so why would her roommate blow up over something so old? Also, I must note that she started going back to her parents' church and has been eating up the no sin side of life, no sex till marriage stuff, so I have to consider that. Now, I wouldn't have stuck around if she didn't have good qualities, but in all honesty, I feel like I've fallen out of love with her. I used to be crazy for her, we used to have a lot of fun, but something changed. Her possessive nature and an overwhelming need to always be the main point in my life began to bug the heck out of me. I've always been a kind, respectful, and strong guy. But when I learned how jealous she was, even commenting on a nice Dodge RT Challenger in plum crazy purple was a risk if it had a cute girl driving it. I couldn't understand why. It just stopped being fun. It began to be work, anxiety, and feeling like I could never relax around her. I guess I have my answer. Alright, the community gave OP a lot of different takes, but still a lot of reasons to break up. So how about we move on to the update to see how this story ends? After having my inbox explode and getting a ton of messages, I took a few days to think about what everyone said. My girlfriend and her behavior over the past few years had caused me not to trust her. I was invited to a get-together with some friends a few nights ago and I decided to go after work. I didn't tell my girlfriend everything because I was just tired of feeling like I had to clear everything with her, like she was my parent and I felt like she would get mad if I went. I just told her I was going to eat with some work buddies. My friends and I, 5 guys and 5 girls, went out and had food and went swimming. My girlfriend was out drinking and partying with her friend and a couple of guys at a bar. I just told her to have fun and drive safe. A few hours later, she called me and I told her I was swimming and told her she should come. It was still early, around 9 p.m. My girlfriend asked who I was with, and when I told her, she got very, very upset. She started screaming at me and called me a liar and hung up on me. I thought the call may have dropped and so I called her back. The screaming continued and everyone could hear her. It was very embarrassing. My friend Matt came over to me and told me to just hang up and not feed into her anger and that I did nothing wrong. Matt could tell I was anxious. I told her I was going to stay at the pool with my friends and that I would call her later. I then told her not to call me until I call her because she needed to calm down. I then told her that I had done nothing wrong and that she needed to relax. Then she hung up on me again. I have never given her a reason to not trust me, but I knew this would happen, so I put my phone on the table and had fun for 3 to 4 hours. We played water polo and volleyball. When I got back to my phone, I had 21 missed calls and about 30 plus messages. The messages ranged from extremely angry to what I would call blaming me for her feeling bad. Her texts were things like, "Why are you doing this to me? I would never do this to you," to "Don't bother calling me ever again." I got home around 2 a.m. and went to bed. I didn't bother calling her. She goes out with friends, guys and girls, all the time, and mostly it's guys. But I don't do anything. I don't care. I'm not insecure like she showed me she apparently is. I go out one time with friends and she flips out. I woke up around 9 a.m. and had a few more missed calls. I realized the previous night that this would never work and that I shouldn't feel anxious when out with friends. I then called her and told her I want to meet up with her. She then started blaming me for not calling her and being a insert your choice swear word. I then told her that I did nothing wrong and that I want to break up. She started crying and yelling, and I told her that I would drop her things off at her place when she was working and that I was done. I said she is untrustworthy and I don't need someone checking my phone while being sketchy with other guys and having a long list of red flags. Then I hung up. She tried to call several times, but I didn't answer. That was a few days ago. I have not heard anything since. I live alone and she does not have any ties to me or any keys. Thanks to everyone for your words of wisdom and even the blunt talk. Smiley face. I really needed some perspective and you guys gave me just that. I'm going out with those same friends here in a little bit to a movie and more swimming. Thanks everyone. I know I'm making the right choice. I feel like a mountain of stress is gone. I'll never have to hear her bug me over a ring again. Ugh, man. And I paid for everything during our relationship. She was incredibly cheap and refused to work full time. Oh well, she'll have to figure out her life now without me. Well, OP, in my opinion, it sounds like you made the right choice. She needs help or whatever. She needs to figure out his life, but you shouldn't be the one who does that for her, just like you say. So, thank you for sharing and all the best in the future, OP. Take care. Now, let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user ACFF. CEO didn't understand what my department did, apparently. Some backstory. I was a general troubleshooter for my company. My job involved a lot of traveling to different clients we support. My area of work is in Ontario, Canada, where I am based, and some of the nearby states in the United States: New York, Massachusetts, Vermont, and Pennsylvania. I did most of my traveling by car since my schedule can change quite quickly and flying can become very expensive. I had one colleague who is technically my subordinate, but we have a very good working relationship and would often handle calls independently of each other, only checking in by phone once a week and in person once a month when necessary. A little over a year ago, I get an email calling me to the head office in New York City for a meeting with the CEO and the board of directors regarding my job. I check with my colleague and he got the same email. So we make our travel plans and meet in New York City the following week. We have dinner together that night before our meeting and can't figure out between us what the issue is about. It's rare to get summoned to the head office and rarer for things to be so vague. When we go into the meeting the next day, we are informed that the company is dividing our department between the US and Canada, and that there would be a new person to deal with the US clients, and we were to restrict ourselves to Canada. Both my colleague and I were a little shocked at this, since neither of us have even heard this was being discussed. I asked who the new person for the US was, and then we learned it was a new hire that the CEO had taken a special interest in. Trying to be of good spirit, I offered to train the new person. There are many realities of the job that are not in the job description. CEO accepted and then brought in the new hire. In walks a young lady who looks about 23 years old and wears an expression that she knows everything. She sits at the table and immediately makes it very clear that she wants nothing to do with us. The conversation went something like this. Note, the CEO is Bob, the new hire is Karen, and my colleague is Jim. Bob says, "Welcome, Karen. We have just informed OP and Jim about the change in structure, and they are willing to give you the support you need to get yourself started." Karen and Bob both look at me. I say, "Glad to have you aboard, Karen. I think both Jim and I have a lot of experience to share with you and are happy to do so. Perhaps it would be better in a separate meeting so we don't take the board's time." And Karen replies, "Thank you all. I have a lot of ideas about how I can streamline our department and new policies I can introduce that should save the company a lot of money and expenses." I'm very confused at this point. Karen is speaking as though she is my supervisor, and that is distinctly not what Bob spoke to us about. I can see some of the board members giving strange looks at this as well. So I go, "Bob, perhaps I misunderstood the new roles here. Would you please clarify?" "Sure, Karen is the new head of your department, and both you and Jim will answer directly to her." A board member jumps in and says, "That isn't what we discussed or approved as a board. We weren't fully convinced of dividing the department, but this is completely against what we discussed." To which Karen says, "What did you discuss then?" And the board member replies, "That your department would be divided between the US and Canada. Opie and Jim would remain north of the border and you would run the US. And Karen replies, "That's not what I was told, but I can work with that as long as these two stay out of my way," indicating to Jim and me. Jim and I are both shocked and insulted to be spoken of in this manner. We are very good at our jobs and before today have never seen this woman in our lives. So Bob jumps in and says, "That settles it. OP, effective immediately, you and Jim are to have nothing to do with Karen. Do not interfere with her work at all. You are both to restrict yourselves to working within Canada only." With that, he ended the meeting and left the room with Karen close behind him. Jim and I sat there stunned for a moment, and some of the board members came up to express their shock and sympathies about this. I had enough presence of mind to ask if we would get a written directive of this change, and was assured we would. Sure enough, both Jim and I got emails with the new directive from Bob by the end of the day. So, after sending an email to all our US-based clients advising them of the change and giving them the contact information of Karen, Jim and I made our way back to Toronto and reorganized ourselves for work within Ontario only. This meant much less traveling for us, so it gave us more room to breathe. Within a week, I was getting complaints from our US-based clients that Karen was not answering emails and missing appointments. I forwarded these emails to Karen and copied the entire board, including Bob. Another week later, I get a phone call from Karen, who sounds frantic but will not admit she needs help. She makes pleasant conversation and then asks how I would handle a particular type of situation. I tell her I'm not really interested in discussing work as that might be seen as interfering with her work. Later that evening, I get a call from Jim telling me he had the same conversation with Karen and handled it the same way. By the end of that month, I get a call from Bob asking if I will take over the entire department again. I politely tell him no, since I didn't want to interfere with Karen and her role. For the next 3 months, I'm getting emails and phone calls from US clients asking if they can have me back as their contact. This confirms an idea that had been in my head. Jim and I had actually grown our client base in Ontario since restricting ourselves here. So I had lunch with Jim one day and asked him if he wanted to go into business with me as partners, starting our own consulting firm. We couldn't provide everything our current company provided, but we could provide a high degree of professionalism for our specific field, and it seemed we had a ready-made client base. By the end of the lunch, he was on board and we started the necessary steps to get ourselves set up. As soon as we were clear, we both submitted our resignations with explanations of why. The next time clients contacted us, we told them we no longer worked for the company. When they asked if we still worked in the field, we told them we had established our own firm and what services we offered. A month later, we had 60% of our US clients on board, and since the former company had no Canadian support at all, we had 80% of the Canadian clients. Within 2 months, we had 80% of the US and 90% of the Canadian clients. In the years since that time, our new company has grown enough that we have hired 7 new consultants. Jim and I find ourselves doing more office work than road work and a lot of client courting. Our old company has had to stop offering in-person troubleshooting, what our department did, and Bob was fired by the board. No idea what happened to Karen. OP's edit. Because of the interest expressed in the comments, I made a phone call to one of the board members I remained on friendly terms with. Here are some answers to questions. How did Karen get the job? Apparently, Bob had set up a business school scholarship out of his own money, which had put something like 6 or 7 students through business school. Karen was the latest graduate, and Bob wanted to give her a start in the business world. Was Bob sleeping with Karen? No clear answer was given, but Bob's wife divorced him shortly after he was fired from the company. Make of that what you will. What happened to Karen? Apparently, she got a job in middle management in a financial services company. Hopefully, she can still build a life for herself and had learned some important lessons. What happened to Bob? Last heard, he was a regional director for a large hotel chain. Hopefully, he also lands on his feet. Everyone deserves a chance to make a life for themselves. Some questioned why the board was there for this meeting. I honestly don't know, nor did the board member I spoke with. It was one of their regularly scheduled meetings, and Bob added things to the agenda. Some questioned my use of non-competes, saying it's not nice. It's a normal reality in the business world. The oddity is that my old company did not have one. The non-compete I have my employees sign is not overly burdensome. It protects our intellectual property and professional contacts. It does not in any way restrict employees' abilities to work in the field. That said, Jim and I have both agreed that if an employee leaves us on good terms and reasonably asks to be released from the non-compete, we would oblige. Thank you all so much for your interest and the great feedback and discussion in the comments. Wow, OP, well, it sounds like hiring Karen was the best thing that happened to you and Jim. It's like one of my favorite lines from my favorite movie, The Shawshank Redemption. OP, who crawled through a river of crap and came out clean on the other side. Congratulations, OP, and all the best in the future. Thanks for sharing. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.